Hey everybody, how you doing? 1st of June, 2026. Leo Naranjo IV, candidate for governor in California, 2026. There's a lot of videos with this particular background. Yes, that's because I'm on my patio. Let me shift over here. There you go. We'll give you a different view. Purdy. I don't want to give you a different view, so we're going to shift back over this. Okay. Bing. I want to put this out for those people out there who, for the last few weeks, have been looking like the proverbial ass online. So let me break this down for you folks. You're either going to love this little clip or you're not. You're either going to want to hear this little clip or you don't. If you're sensitive, snowballish, or a softie, you probably want to go away at this point in time. If you think you can take it, stay tuned. How many of you have seen the movie Patton? How many of you have seen the movie Patton at least 2 or 3 times? How many of you have seen the movie Patton at least 10 times and actually paid attention to the words of the movie? How many of you have seen the movie enough times that you can almost verbatim recite the movie at certain portions? Yeah, I'm that guy. Because George Patton was a big influence in my young life way back when. A big influence. John Paul Jones, an American revolutionary hero, the father of the United States Navy, as he's been announced to be, was a huge impact to my life. Amongst many others, and that was in my youth at that time. What does that mean in today's content? My wife is fond of saying, nothing beats a failure but a try. She's also fond of saying that you'll never win the game if you never step on the field of play. Interesting. Child can't learn to ride a bike unless they get on the bike and start riding it. And if they go boom, they don't quit. They get back on the bike and they do it again until they master the bicycle. I want some of you people, especially you adults that fell for this bullshit of the recent weeks, and you know who I'm talking about, the Hilton crowd, the bought and paid for groups, the so-called adults in the room, the political know-it-alls who have basically been screaming for Chad Bianco to drop out of this race. Oh my God. Leo, are you a Chad Bianco supporter now? If you believe that shit, I got a bridge to sell you in San Francisco. No, I got shit to do with Chad Bianco. Chad Bianco has his own problems. I'm just highlighting Chad Bianco for the moment. Doesn't mean it's in a good way. Doesn't mean I back the man. I'm just using him as the example because that's where all the rhetoric is now at, Chad Bianco. I've already faced my calls to drop when I freaking started running for governor. And some of you people out there found out the hard way. I'm not that type of guy that you can stand there and bark at and think that I'm going to cower, slink away, stick my tail between my legs and run off yelping. Depending on how hard you come at me will depend on whether or not I turn around and spin it right back on you. I'm from the old school Army days of the 1980s. I'm from the old school days, born and raised in the 1960s. I don't do the snowflake thing. I give a rat's ass if somebody's feelings are going to be bothered by what I say. Fact is fact, truth is truth. If you don't like it, don't put yourself in a position to have an opinion thrown at you. And if you don't want anybody's opinion that you don't like, don't ask for it. But a lot of you people have been calling for Chad Bianco to drop out of the race. And let me just say this. You ran with Chad Bianco all the way up to the March date when we had to finally file to put our name on the ballots. You thought the guy was good. Well, he doesn't have a chance to win. He didn't have a chance to win when he threw his name in the hat. The first indicator was the 178 years of California state history on how we view sheriffs in this state. They're not elected to the position of governor. That was your first indication he didn't have a chance to win. The next one was when Kim Yeater brought him up on a forum and people questioned me, how the hell did you get on a forum with Chad Bianco? Well, hell, I don't know. Kim Yeater asked me to be on one, and I said yes. So she slotted me on with him. Now, we didn't have a face-to-face at the same time deal, but we were on the same podcast. People were shocked about that. How did you get on the same stage with him? It was a good thing that we weren't on the same stage, because he would have been broken down much sooner than he has been. But people were stunned at that. You got on a forum with Chad Bianco? Oh, okay. Never mind. You need to drop out. Why? You're split the vote. Oh, please, don't give me that bullshit. Well, you don't have the money. Don't give me that bullshit. Well, you're not famous. Am I famous now? I don't know who you are. Ask and I'll tell you. Everything was an excuse. We don't have no political experience. That's it. You don't have no political experience. Really? But you just tried to ram Steve Garvey down our throat. And where has he been politically active? Arnold Schwarzenegger, he got pushed down our throat. Where was he politically active? And Ronnie and a few other people. So you don't want career politicians, but you're demanding that I be politically active and historical. Well, you have no chance of winning. Yeah, if I quit, I have zero chance of winning. If I don't step into the race, I have zero chance of winning. And who the hell are you to know what I have and don't have? I faced a lot of hostility at the beginning of this race from my own side. We're not even talking about the Democrats. Because when I started this race, I told people the very first opponents I'm going to face are not from the Democrats, the liberal progressive, the whack jobs of the left, the Antifa types. No! The very first obstacles to running in the campaign in California are not going to come from them. It's going to come from Republicans. Republicans that don't want you to succeed. Republicans that are fearful that you might. Republicans that can't control you and therefore you're not a legitimate candidate. Republicans that can't own you, so therefore you're not legitimate. Republicans who aren't going to be able to get anything from you, therefore you're not worthy to run for office. Or the jealous SOBs who are upset because you're running for an office they could never envision trying for. And all of it came from everywhere. Candidates themselves tried that. And they got taught a lesson too. Don't go down that path. Now, for Republican establishments and people who think, well, I'll destroy your political career in California. I'll just talk shit about you so that you can't go anywhere beyond dog catcher, if you can even make it to there. Carl DeMaio to David Serpa, you know you're a lunatic, right? You know you're insane. But have you seen what the politicians do in the camera? Look at the debates the last couple of weeks, the last couple of months. You thought that was professionalism in action? That was kindergartners in suits acting like abject assholes on stage in full view of the public. Oh, if I had $20 for every time somebody told me, oh my God, Leo, you're a candidate. You can't talk like that to me. You just called me an MFer, described my mother, wanted to attack my wife till I held up my finger and cautioned you that would be the last mistake you ever did the one time you tried it? And you got mad because I flashed on your ass? That's not the Republican that you're used to dealing with. Well, I get that, because you're used to talking shit to whoever you want to, thinking that that person's going to cower and walk away and slink away in shame and embarrassment and leave you hanging on the high horse. Wrong guy. Some of you found that out the hard way. In the nicest way I could put it, short of an F-bomb. And you know-it-alls that think you know it all, what do you know? You don't know shit. I've been in politics forever and a day. You've been a loser forever and a day. Because the last 30 years have been very indicative of you losing forever and a day. All the wealth of experience, how many screwed up laws have you stopped? 0. All the costs that are driving everything up to live in California, how much have you stopped? 0. All the a-holes that are in the legislature office running amok, how many of those have you replaced? 0. You've lost for so long that you've accepted losing as the norm. Because when you're a loser, you can always complain about the Democrats sucking, stealing, and subverting everything so that you can continually raise money for your party. The problem is people got tired of hearing you do that for so long and acquiring or achieving nothing behind it that they're now disillusioned with you as well. Why do I want to vote for a Republican Party that's useless or acts democratic when I can just vote the real thing in office? How many times have we heard uniparty? A lot. How many times have we heard rhinos? A lot. How many people are in positions of power in the Republican Party that are former Democrats who saw the light? Elizabeth Markahana, you're one of them. Oh, you sit on a central committee. Oh, you seem to be influential. You walk around the convention like you're Princess top shit of the pile. Now, Jewish and princess go together, and it's not a positive explanation. It's actually a derogatory commentary. I've heard that tossed around in describing you as well. But you walk around like you're a haughty little mofo whose shit don't stink. Saw that at the convention. Seen that when you make your post. Checked your ass when you got a little bit too flamboyant on some of them, and noticed that you don't respond to anything now because your little digits got singed. Is that your husband? The guy that was literally hanging around you to that degree? Because when you put that into a photograph, you can meme the hell out of that and it don't look positive. If you're not sure what I'm talking about, circa 1943, look up some propaganda from Germany back in those days. Maybe you'll get the clue of what I'm referring to. But you are the showboat reason why our party sucks in the state of California. You might have left the Democrats, but I'm not sure that you left their mentality and thinking. How many people did you have kicked out of the convention because you didn't like them? Wow, seriously? Beverly Hills City Council race. How many people with your flyers as a Republican Central Committee member / personality that always seems to glamour happy ass up to be on TV, but never working to try and change anything in LA? How many people on the Beverly Hills committee did you endorse? Oh, let's see. An incumbent and a Democrat. And you endorsed leaving the third position open. Meanwhile, you actually had some Republicans running for the office that you disparaged. But you endorsed a Democrat over a Republican running for that same office. Whoa, you better check your rules, young lady, because you fucked up. Pardon my French. But your buddy Roxanne Hogue is going to save your ass because that's what you do. And that's why you're not going to be removed from your seat or lose your delegate status, which you should, because you committed the cardinal sin in the party, which is endorse a Democrat over a Republican. I don't care if you like the Republican guy or not, you endorsed a Democrat over a Republican. Rules don't apply to thee as they apply to me, right? Okay. That's why I call you the princess. And it ain't in a positive way that I'm saying it. So now we're back on the Hilton thing. And all you so-called I know, when you don't know shit. Kira Davis suddenly is a Hilton supporter, balls to the wall, no movement whatsoever. Regardless of the evidence to the contrary, that woman is stuck on stupid. Mike Netter, heard about him. He's about as brain dead as a dead flea. Did make an interesting post about Bianco. Yeah, that was kind of cute. The fact that he caught it on Chad, that was even funnier. Like Elmo catching a major gaffe in somebody's political campaign. And if you missed what I'm talking about, it was the SWAT team of the sheriff on a call with SWAT team gear on and everything. They're all done, ready to go. And this guy's looking up dates on Tinder in the command vehicle. Still employed, not suspended, not corrected. And Mike Netter's comments was priceless. Well, this is embarrassing. Yeah, it was. The Hiltonite group of people who are so die-hard to get Chad to drop out of the race, you know, it calls into question, are you folks really Americans? You have no chance of winning, Chad. The polls are there, but you've kissed the man's ass all this time, refused to listen to anybody else, and now you're wanting him to step out of the race. And you've been saying this now for over a week and a half, but especially yesterday, 2 days before the polls closed, you want the man to quit. He's this, he's that. Oh, I'm sure Sheriff Chad Bianco is many things. I'm not too sure he's a traitor. Egotistical? Shit, they say that about military people, as if it's a bad thing. Maniacal? Yeah, they say that about us too. Narcissistic? Well, that's any politician if you really boil it down to it. So I think you're trying to be derogatory, but I'm not sure which way you're looking to go, because those words seem to bounce off of everybody in politics. And Hilton? I really respect you, Chad, but everything before the word but is useless because everything after the word but is the only thing that matters now. You want him to drop out. Why? Because you have to get behind me. I'm the only candidate that matters. I got the POTUS endorsement. I got this endorsement. I got that endorsement. I bought Kira. I bought Netta. I bought all kinds of other people who are kissing my arse because I'm Steve Hilton for Fox News. I own the media. You don't know it, but I do. Somebody should put an APB out on Rachel Whetstone to find out where the hell she went to. missing for 2 years. Is it safe to presume that she's missing for 2 years? Your best political buddy, Carl DeMaio, did not come out and support you for your presidential endorsement. Why? David Tangipa did, but who cares about him? He's a Carl DeMaio lackey. The flunky came out to support you, not the main guy. Why was that, Steve? You didn't get endorsed by the state party, even with a Trump presidential endorsement. Why is that? People want to see you, but that doesn't necessarily mean they're going to support you. And for you to think that you know what everything there is to know about California, as you claim, that you know how to fix shit, that you know how people in California work, what they're looking for, what they're trying to do. You know all this about Californians, but you didn't realize that a Trump endorsement fucked you in California? That's when I said you were too stupid to know how dumb you are. And it stands. Nobody spoke with you at the Kim Eater event in San Marcos. You were the big guy in the room, but everybody went to Laura Loomer, or Laura Logan, I'm sorry, and they talked to her about bullshit. No party preference candidate. Tillman didn't even chit-chat with you. Nobody was chit-chatting with you in the green room. Or did you forget that? Because you weren't impressive. And you didn't look like you wanted to be in that room with us anyway, because we were below your level of acceptance and tolerance. We were below and beneath you. That's called an arrogant SOB to me. You know everything there is to know about California, but you didn't know that. And you supposedly know everything there is to know about California and a little bit about America, but you don't know shit about the country. The country was not built on losers. And the country was not built on quitters. Maybe you should watch that movie, Patton, a few times to find out what quitting means. If we took your perception of this political race and put it into some real-world applications, this is what would have happened. And thank God your stupid ass was never in a position of power during 1939 through 1945, because you would have sold out your country. Oh my God, the Luftwaffe, they got thousands of planes, they're kicking our ass. Oh, it's horrible. We can't win. We'll have to surrender. The U-boats taking out our ships, we'll have to surrender. They sunk the hood, we have to surrender. They're starving Malta, we have to surrender. They're beating us in the desert. They captured a top general, we got to surrender. How much surrendering would you have done during World War II, sir? How often? What else would you have given up to the Axis powers? Winston Churchill was very... Have you ever seen that movie, The Darkest Hour? Kind of giving a historic of Winston Churchill. We're going to fight in the land, the beaches, the fields, the cities. And if England itself falls, we're going to continue from the colonies. He didn't sound anything towards surrendering. He was fighting until the end when everything was done. Winston Churchill exhibited leadership. You just read off of scripts and make policy recommendations. Americans. Ooh, Americans. Maybe watch the movie Gladiator a little bit. A people should know when they're conquered. Remember that line? A people should know when they're conquered. It's only a movie, Leo. You quote movies too much and try and put them into real life. You don't think movies aren't real life? You look around you in today's world. And then you go back into the genre of the movie time frame. You think all the Buck Rogers things are strictly fantasy? Back then, maybe. Man was never meant to fly, but they were in balloons, hot air balloons, freely and tethered. We went airborne in World War I, utilized it for those applications, and look where we are 100 some odd years later. Space exploration was a fantasy for the loonies. Look where we're at now, trying to figure out how to put a moon base on the moon. A people should know when they're conquered. What was the report that Maximus said? Would you? Would I? You're British, supposedly. What would you do back at Rorke's Drift after your asses got handed to you in the Battle of Islandwalla? Gee, what would Herr Hilton have done at Rorke's Drift? Oh my God, we got thousands of Zulus and they just kicked our ass on the plains. We can't win. We have nothing to do. We got to surrender. We got to quit. Those men at Rorke's Drift were outnumbered almost at what, 150 to 1? And they held their position to the degree that at the end of the 3-day battle, the Zulus honored them for being the warriors that they were. That's your English history. Countless other portions of English history are there also. Or did you forget about that? But you read scripts and you just write policy, so you probably don't know shit. Americans don't quit, sir. Why do you think we have a canal cutting across the Isthmus of Panama? Why do you think we have a country as opposed to two different nations inside of the same continent? Why do you think we have a nation beyond the 13 colonies? Or the cities that sprung up from the states created as we moved westward? Why do you think America is the biggest nation that it is in today's world? Why would you think otherwise? They didn't quit in World War I when the Marine Battalion was cut off and behind the lines and the Germans ceaselessly attacked them. The Lost Battalion, you ever heard a story about that, Steve? Maybe you should read a little bit more than the bullshit you sell on your plan. If it was up to you, there wouldn't have been a Battle of Bastogne because you would have yielded to the Germans. You would have capitulated right after Pearl Harbor. You would have surrendered the whole of the United States of America when Wake fell. And that's another thing of excitement there. Because given your mentality of today, the Marine defenders of Wake should never have fought back in the face of overwhelming odds. Clearly, the battle was against you. You're going to lose. You know it. I know it. The world knows it. It's time. You looked good. You gave it your all, but you have to surrender. You have to quit. Those Marines turned back the first Japanese amphibious assault ever conducted up to that day against the island nation of Japan. And they held out a few more days before they were overran. Did they lose? They fought back until they couldn't fight anymore. But they didn't quit because they saw that they were outnumbered, outgunned, and soon to be overwhelmed. Gee, what else in history does that attest to? The Battle of the Alamo. Outnumbered and outgunned, but they fought back. And they stayed there till they finally fought and were unable to fight any longer. Did they get creamed? Of course they did. Did they give up because the odds were overwhelming? You knew you were going to lose, therefore you had to stop? Didn't happen, did it? There's a lot about America you don't know shit about, sir. Let's just be honest and cut to the chase. You don't know anything about our Constitution. You can read it with all of the emotion that a dead flea gives. You can parrot the words from it, that's about it. You can read about American history, but you don't have any concept of it, no value towards it, because that's not who you are. You just read scripts and you write policies. You haven't sacrificed anything. So when your people yowl and powl and everything else about what Bianco needs to do or anybody else in this race needs to do, you're basically saying quit. Americans don't quit. The Golden State Warriors sucked many, many, many years ago. Hell, that's like showing up on an NFL season. You already know who the top teams are. Why bother to have a season? These people are going to lose. Call it a day. You already know it. There was a time frame the Cleveland Browns lost every game for at least 2-3 years in a row. That's how horrible they were, but they still showed up to play. Because it was for a check? Well, yeah, some of that. But they still played. The Golden State Warriors continued to do what they did until they became the world champions that they became. And people that went up against them, they didn't show up to the game, or they didn't not bother to go to the game because, oh my God, it was the Warriors. You got Steph Curry. You got all these people on the Golden State Warriors. That's the dominating team. You can't win. Just give it up. Same thing with the Bulls. Teams went up against the Bulls. They didn't quit because Michael Jordan was on the team and they were a powerhouse team at the time. They played. You shake the hands of your opponent and you play. We managed to win when I was in the service, post-championship for our volleyball games. Our volleyball team won post-championship. We went on to play in regional competition, and looking at the competition, we knew we were going to get crushed just the way that they were. But those guys got to play and practice daily. We got to play and practice seasonally, which means when the season was up, that's when we started to play and practice. But not before then. Before then, we were doing our regular jobs. These people, that's all they did was practice and play. That was their job in the military. And guess what? We almost beat their ass. I had an interesting serve at the time. I racked up about 12 points on a team first serve. They couldn't compete with that until they figured it out. But we played our ass off. Even though we got beaten, we still played our ass off. Did we lose respect from the other team? Fuck no. Gained a hell of a lot of respect for the other team and encouraged others behind us. That team was not infallible. They were beatable. You want people to quit, that's because that's what you're used to. The infection of the Republican Party and the loser mentality that they hold has infected you just as much as it's infected them. Quit the race, Chad. Quit the race, Leo. Quit the race, everybody other than the name Hilton, because we told you to. You have no chance of winning. It's hopeless. You, sir, would probably be the guy on the sidelines whispering in David's ear. You can't win, kid. It's Goliath. Yield the field. But hey, you don't have any faith, much less leadership, and you don't know shit about American history because for you, it's a script and all you did was write policy. Chad Chad Bianco might be many things and have many problems that he will have to contend with down the road of life. But I'll give him this credit where credit is due. His ass ain't going nowhere, and he knows it, and I knows it, and the rest of the country knows it. The game is not over with until the election ends tomorrow when we find out who proceeds to the general. You think Americans will belittle him for staying in the race? And then obviously you don't know too much about Americans. You think Americans are going to belittle me for staying in the race? They'll say a lot of things, but obviously you don't know too much about Americans. What they will do is besmirch you and begrudge you if you quit. If you show up and just turn around and walk away. Hell, George Patton couldn't stand those type of people. You got bested at Yorba Linda by me. I know that must have stung. Because I already stung your ass early in this campaign season when you made a derogatory comment towards my missus. But you calling on anybody to quit? That sounds like a man barking from the position of weakness. I once had a gentleman that was at least 6'5", 260 pounds on a football field look down at me and ask me as we're getting ready to engage in our intramural sports team play on the Army contesting field in football, what did I think I was going to do as a linebacker in the face of him? And I looked up at him because he was that tall. I'm 5'10", and I'm looking up. He's got at least 6 or 7 inches on me. He outweighs me by at least 130 pounds. And what I told him was, I'm going to knock him on his ass, and then I'm going to sack his quarterback. Well, by the time he stopped laughing, he forgot the ball had already been snapped, and his quarterback got sacked 15 yards behind the lines. Oh, he took me seriously at that point forward. But he couldn't keep me out. And I religiously fucked up their field of play because we beat that team on the field. You begged for a POTUS endorsement and it didn't get you shit. You've bought your way almost as bad as Tom Steyer, but you don't have that much pull. And the pundits online can't get you your way. You're doing everything possible to control the media that you've boasted to a few people and bragged about that you own the media. And why? Because you're on Fox News. And that still hasn't gotten things your way. All the resources are at your disposal, and then there's me, and who walked away with the endorsement in San Diego? Neither one of us. And it doesn't matter that I got 5 votes, 20 votes, less than your 400 votes. The bottom line is you lost just like I did. But my trophy didn't cost as much as yours did. No one's quitting shit the day before the election balloting is finished. Kamala Harris did that when she ran for president. Dropped out of the race before the first ballot was cast in Idaho. That's the template, sir. No one is going to accept that stigma of being a quitter right before a contest. You're right. I may not win this race, but my ass got in the race. And if you saw one of my Chad Bianco duck videos, what did I say there? Mr. Bianco, what are your chances of winning? Well, I ain't worried about that shit. I'm in the race. What does that mean? Well, I'm in the race. I'd like to leave this message for a young lady that decided to ban me because I confronted her about her choice of candidates. She's a track person. She's won a couple times. She's got slammed a couple of times. But she's not a consistent winner. Faced with that, put what you're saying today, because she also has gone down that tether to request Bianco drop 3 days before the ballots are cast. Take that same mentality, young lady, and apply it to yourself at the next time you engage in a track meet and see people who are better than you on the field. Because based on that determination, you should just pack your shit and walk off. You can't win. They're 10 seconds faster than you. Your time is 3 minutes, their time is 2.5 minutes. It's a known fact. You can't win. Quit. Walk away. That's what you're advocating for. You have aspirations to go up the political world, but you're not rich and famous. Quit, walk away. Don't get into problems financially. Don't get into the hardships of people throwing stones in your direction. Walk away, quit. Don't even bother with it because you're not going anywhere. Look at the field around you. Will you apply that same rule to yourself that you're trying to apply on others? Of course you won't. Am I actually saying is that what you should do? If you haven't learned anything from me, much less about me, then you should have learned this. Ain't no quitting here. What are your chances of winning? Just as good as yours, because I put my ass on the field to contest you. And if I lose with my integrity intact. But I'm not going to be, it's not going to be said of me, I cowered out at the last minute. Well, you just wish you could have ran for governor. Guess what? I did. And the chips fell where they may. I don't have that problem with integrity behind me, but some folks do. Let me give you another one to drive home the point. I may not like what you have to say, but I will defend to the death your right to say it. You've denied me that right. Because you can't even hold on to that same thought process. I may not like what you have to say, but I'll defend to the death your right to say it. You'd rather me be silent, not say anything, or you block me so that nobody can hear me. That's what you did. You think I'm off kilter? You think I don't know what the hell I'm talking about? There's a lot that I've learned that you're gonna learn through life. And one of those things is life doesn't give a rat's ass about your feelings. But you're gonna find that out as you go through it. And Mr. Hilton, you're about ready to find out where you truly stand in California. If you make this race to enter the primary, we'll see what happens in November. I'm thinking they're probably not going to make it, but that's just me. But looking how you're sounding and acting and everything else you're trying to purchase and buy from folks here, I don't think Chad's the only one that needs to consider bowing out. Maybe you should have done that a long time ago too. But once we put our name on the dotted line, signed the checks, submitted our paperwork, took the oath, you know, that thing that you read on the piece of paper that you don't really care about because it doesn't mean shit to you. You've never been in a leadership position and you never created jack. All you've done is written policy. That's what's going to happen. My name is Leo Naranjo IV, candidate for governor in the 2026 race for the California governor's race. God bless each and every one of you. Have a great afternoon. It is warm, it is bright and sunny, and there is no wind. Don't forget to vote, cast your ballot, If you want to pick a Republican but you can't stand what's there, choose me, Leo Naranjo IV. God bless you. Leo Naranjo 4, the number 4, gov.com. Talk to you later.